What's up, my peeps? Al Smith here. Today I'm at the Endurant One house, and what I'm gonna have to do is my regular maintenance, but I also need to do some detailed stuff as well. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Um, I have like a little overcast because it's supposed to be raining. It's actually supposed to be raining all this week, which it hasn't been raining. It hasn't been raining any of this month. So maybe we'll get some of those April showers um, in the next day or so. But for the most part, it's gonna be a fairly easy yard today, a fairly easy task to do today, specifically because like I'm staying on top of everything. Uh, I couldn't cut the backyard last week because my client, they have some work going on, so I really couldn't get back here or get back there and cut the backyard. But I'll be able to do that this week. So I guess I'm gonna take you along with that as well, and we're gonna try to get this thing cleaned up. All right. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. All right, my peeps. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it at this point, and I'm gonna cut it lower than I normally do. I normally cut it on like 3 or 4. This time I'm gonna cut it on like 2. Especially back here, starting off in the backyard. So I'm gonna cut it on like 2 back here because it's low already. And so if I cut it on 3, it's not really gonna be cutting anything. And I do want to cut some stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, my peeps, let's go ahead and start blowing it out. All right, my peeps, let's go ahead and do this final walkthrough. I'm gonna start off in the backyard because I ain't really do too much back here, and because it looks good. Anyway, here's them edges. Edges are looking good. It's all the way up there to the top. It's around that sago palm. That's looking good. This area over here, this landing pad, that's looking good. The backyard is looking good. Back here, I should have cut it a little bit lower, but I was like, man, I ain't gonna do that. I still was able to get some stripes out of it. It's not as pronounced as I would like, but it's cool though. Here's the fence line. Let me just show y'all these stripes so y'all don't think I'm playing. Oh man, I still got it in me now. I still got some stripes in me. The fence line, next week or maybe the week after, I get these weeds that's kind of like coming over. I don't want it to rain on me and I don't get far enough in my route. So some of the stuff I know I'm gonna have to skip. Here's the side part. Here's the edges over here. And that's how it's looking from that angle. This side of the yard, I weed eat it. And I do that so I can chop up those little weeds, those little white weeds. I do that because of that. I be trying to knock them down. Here's the edges over here. And here's the edges over here. All the way down. And here's the final reveal. Yes, sir-ree. I put a diagonal cut on it this time. And the reason why is because I had went from left to right last time I was over here. Normally what I do is down on this side right here where the gate is, normally what I do is I go back and forth. But today I kept the diagonal cut going and I was able to put it all the way to the very end of the house. All of that has been striped in a diagonal cut. And I'll be honest, this is the best diagonal cut I've done in, I don't know, quite some time. I'll be honest, man. I really hadn't been trying to do any type of, you know, major just designing. I hadn't been trying to do any of that. Basically what I was trying to do was, for the most part, was just trying to get it cut. You know, during the springtime, the grass is going to be going through a transition. And so what I like to do is I like to cut it high, then cut it low, cut it high, then cut it low, then cut it, you know, a little lower sometimes, like what I did today. I cut it just a little bit lower than I normally would. And so the reason why I do that is because it helps promote growth, right? So the grass is growing. I don't know if my clients are actually watering the yard as much as it may need. I don't really know. But I know that as long as it's getting some sun, it's getting some rain, you know, or it's getting some water, cutting it low and then cutting high, cutting it low, cutting it high, that ain't gonna do anything but make it want to grow. Because when I cut it low, the grass, it kind of like, not shocks it, but shocks it. It makes it want to get back to a reasonable height because it's trying to protect itself from the sun. So it's like when I cut it low, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to be this low. Let me grow up and let me do it faster and as quick as I can. So I'm coming over here every week. And by me coming over here every week, it's like, man, I'm already putting not really stress on the yard, but stress on the yard because I'm coming over here every week. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that when I'm coming, I'm not going the same direction because that causes ruts. And then I'm trying to make sure that I can create that growth or stimulate that growth within the actual grass by cutting it low, cutting it high, cutting it low, cutting it high. If I cut it low, what happens is basically it just it wants to grow. If I cut it high, it makes it thicker. You know what I mean? So like that's a trick that I use. I don't know if anybody else uses it, but it's something that I use, especially on St. Augustine grass, and it works. I mean, just wonderful. So next week when I come, you will see the grass is gonna be higher and it's gonna look like it needs to be cut. If I would have came today and I would have just cut it higher, it would have grown, but it would only grow slightly. It's like once it gets up to a certain height, it's just gonna start to grow slightly, and that's not what I want. I want to promote fast growth because I'm coming over here every single week, so I want to promote fast growth. And then once I see that it's starting to really grow, I'm gonna aerate it. I'm gonna put fertilizer on it, and I might even do some Endurant. That Endurant is gonna help really protect it, and it's gonna help lock in those nutrients. And so that might be what I do once it really starts to grow. Aerate it, fertilize it. I might put some Endurant on it, and then I'm gonna just start cutting it higher, and that's gonna make it real lush for the rest of the spring and then going into the summertime. It's gonna make it very lush, and that's what I really want. I want it to be lush. I don't want it to be like how it is now. Like it's growing and it's growing at a good rate because every week when I come over here, I do have to cut it, but I want it to start really getting that nice deep green and that nice lush feeling when you're walking across it. And so that's really like my biggest goal. And so I'm gonna keep doing it. I'll probably do it until maybe sometime next month. We're at the end of April right now, so what I'll probably do is I'll probably do it until the end of May, and by June, come in, aerate it, throw the fertilizer on it, and then we'll go from there. So with that being said, my name is Al Smith. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. To all of our brands that have considered us as affiliates, man, shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to Endurant, Turf Colorants, as well as the Geoponics brand. Shouts out to Amazon. And shouts out to all of the people that have been reaching out. It has been some big brands that have been reaching out to us. So shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to everybody that be commenting and turning my comments up, man. Shouts out to all of y'all. And shouts out to the people that are looking at the videos, watching the videos, maybe even sharing the videos. Like, man, sometimes you don't even have to comment. Your view means a lot to me. It really does. And no matter how big I get, man, I'm gonna be the same person that I've always been. I promise you that. So with that being said, my name is Al Smith, and I'm out.